Me, my girl? You say yes? That's close enough. That's close enough. I'll take it. Hi, everybody. Welcome or welcome back to Novel Idea. My name is Dia, and today I am going to do a week in review. So I managed to finish 7 books this last week. Why don't you lie down? Yeah, just lie down, hang out. So I managed to finish 7 books this last week. So we're just gonna go through those. That's my plan today, is just to tell you what I thought about them. And this little weirdo is gonna hang out with me, I guess. So the first book that I finished was B.B. Alston's Amari and the Great Game. This is book 2 in the Amari series, and it is not finished yet. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or if it's going to be longer than that, but it's going to be at least a trilogy. So this is the second in the series, so I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but what I will tell you is that I think I liked this one even more than the first book. And I liked the first book a lot. So it's about Amari, who comes to find out that she has magical powers while she is searching for her brother, who has disappeared, and everybody thinks he has run away, but she doesn't accept that. I really enjoyed it. It's a middle grade, and it is wonderful. It's wonderful. All right, the next book that I completed was Foster by Keegan. Now, back in 2022, I want to say January of 2022, I read Small Things Like These. And it was actually nominated for the Women's Prize in Fiction. I remember thinking when it was nominated that I was very surprised, because even though it was a good story, that's what it was. It was just a good story. It was fine. There were things about it that I really liked, but it just wasn't enough of a story, and it wasn't a story that was going to stick with me. Foster is a story that's going to stick with me. I really liked it. I liked it so much, and I kept waiting for something just, obnoxiously horrible to happen, and it didn't. So this is about a young girl who ends up being fostered by some family members. And I'm not going to tell you anything else about it, because if I do, it will spoil this very short book, 128 pages maybe. So, Foster by Keegan. Next one that I read was Long Lost. This is by Jacqueline West. This is the story of a set of sisters, older and younger, who have just recently moved to a very small, very historic town in Massachusetts, I believe. About these sisters who don't have a very good relationship. They don't really like each other very much. One of the sisters is a reader, and she decides to stay at the library one day while her sister goes off to a practice. And while she is at the library, she discovers a book. She has a difficult time letting go of this book, letting go of this story. And it also is about 2 sisters. A little bit of a mystery, a little bit of like magical realism, a little ghost story maybe. And it was not my favorite. We are in the head of two of the sisters in particular several times, and the thoughts and it's like this roiling of emotions that's happening. It was so sad to me that it was hard to like the book, because I was just saddened by the way that they were feeling about each other. So that was Long Lost by Jacqueline West. The next one that I read was Endling, and this is The Last by Katherine Applegate. Endling is a series. Katherine also wrote The One and Only Ivan, The One and Only Bob, and I started reading Endling just because it was a middle grade book that was available through my library. I loved it. I fell in love with these characters. I am anxious to move on in the series. There are 5 ruling species upon this world, in this land, or superior species, I should say. They are ones that can communicate with one another through a common tongue. One of them is going extinct. They are being hunted, and it's against policy, it's against a treaty that has been signed. And come to find out, the one that we are following in the story is the very last of her kind. At least that's what we are supposing, because of some things that happen. And she is hesitant, of course, to make friends, and she is hesitant to trust, but she is learning to do that, and she has some very loyal fellow adventurers, and I really enjoyed that story. So that was Endling by Katherine Applegate. And then I read Half Magic. I have that one down here, actually. This is one I own. So this is Half Magic. This is by Edward Eager. And this is a story about a set of 4 siblings who come upon a coin, kind of, on the sidewalk, and just kind of wish that something exciting would happen. Their summer is rather boring because their mother has to work all the time. Their father has passed away. Their housekeeper, nanny kind of person doesn't want to take them to go do anything. And so their summer is dwindling away in boredom, and they just wish for something exciting to happen to them. And lo and behold, it is a magical token, and they end up with all kinds of things happening, and it's a beautiful story. I loved it. It was fun and funny, and the relationship with the kids is wonderful. The relationship with the parent and the kids is wonderful, and they are also very open-hearted children. And so once things happen for them, their immediate response is, we should let somebody else have this. We should let somebody else experience this. And so it was just really lovely. I thought it was wonderful. Okay, and then the next one that I read was Beezus and Ramona. And this was a purchase from a library sale. And so, let's see if I can cover that part up. So Beezus and Ramona is by Beverly Cleary. It was a book that I read as a child, and then I read it to my kids when they were little. And it is the story of 2 sisters done well. Beezus is 8, 9, and Ramona is 4. And Ramona is very precocious, rambunctious, just full of energy and go, go, go. And Beezus is very proper and very much follows the rules and likes things to be organized and likes things to be clean and tidy and quiet. And it is funny. It is endearing. It totally makes you sigh and just go, oh, I just love this story. I just love this story. This is actually the only Ramona book that I really like. Just this one. Last one, you guys. This is a buddy read, and that is Crazy Horse by Lowry McMurtry. I'm gonna take this cover off because I think this naked hardback is absolutely beautiful. A very slim little volume. The reason for that is because there is very little known firsthand about Crazy Horse. This is not a picture of him because he never allowed his picture to be taken. What we do know about him, Lowry McMurtry was very wonderful at just laying out this beautiful story about this man who just wanted to be free, just wanted to provide for people he was responsible for, to have children and to live a good life. That's what his goal all along was. I buddy read this with Kristen from Enter the Book, and we both really enjoyed it. Had some really good discussion just about government, about race. I'm not going to go into all of it, but I will say that it was just beautiful to have Kristen to read this with. I grew up in Idaho, very, very close to two separate reservations. And the reservations that I grew up very close to are actually talked about in this book. I also lived for quite a few years, almost a decade, in Bozeman, Montana, and Bozeman is talked about quite a bit in this as well. So it was just a fantastic nonfiction biography on Crazy Horse by Lowry McMurtry. All right, guys, so that's it. That is all of the books that I finished this week. I am in the middle of currently The Girl of Ink and Stars, that is by Kieran Millwood Hargraves. It is about a kind of dystopian society where a dictatorship has taken over an island and has forbidden parts of the island to be entered. You've got one area of the island that you can live, and he governs over it. Anybody outside of that area is cast out of the society. Her father is a map maker, and she is being trained up in map making herself, and she just wants adventure. She wants to go and explore. That is the premise of The Girl of Ink and Stars. I also am reading Lois Lowry's The Willoughbys. I haven't barely started it. I am reading Word After Word After Word, and that's by Patricia MacLachlan. That one is literally about words. It is about a set of fourth graders who are pretty bored with school until they get a teacher who kind of teaches them the beauty and the glory that words can create. And I also started a very large book called The Day of Fallen Night. It is a prequel to Priory of the Orange Tree. This is my mammoth for the month. And so it's for March of the Mammoths. So I've started March Mystery Madness. I've started middle grade March, and now I have got March of the Mammoths going on as well. Those are what I'm in the middle of, and after I finish those, we'll continue on with middle grade throughout the entire month. So I'm just going to keep reading more middle grade as I finish things. I think that's everything. Are you guys having a good March so far? Have you read any of the books that I talked about today, and what did you think about them? I would love to know that. And did you know anything about Crazy Horse? Was he a new character to you? There's a point in here where Larry McMurtry actually says that there was more that has been written about his death because it was witnessed than ever was written about his life. You want to come say hi? Thanks for joining me today, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Like if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to. Bye.